You just spent $1.5 million on a gas station. Not a tech startup, not a restaurant chain, a small concrete lot with pumps, a convenience store, and a giant illuminated sign. And somehow, this unglamorous little lot is quietly one of the most resilient businesses in America. Welcome to the surprisingly complex world of owning a gas station. Because today, you own a business that most people drive past without a second thought, yet visit almost every single week, every year. Let's talk about what you actually purchased. A gas station isn't really a fuel business. It's actually 2 or 3 businesses stacked inside one small building. There's the fuel itself, sold at razor-thin margins that barely cover costs. There's the convenience store, packed with snacks and drinks that carry enormous markups. And often, there's a car wash, a food counter, or a franchise deal bolted onto the whole operation. Gas stations generally come in 2 flavors. Company-owned stations run directly by big oil brands, and independently owned stations that individuals like you can actually buy. You've landed one of the independent ones, and that changes your entire relationship with suppliers. Unlike a corporate-run station, you negotiate your own fuel contracts, choose your own store inventory, and keep the profits instead of reporting to a distant regional office. Historically, gas stations trace back over a century to the early days of automobiles when general stores simply added a single pump out front. The model barely changed at its core. Sell people something they need on the way to somewhere else. So how does buying a gas station actually work? You don't just walk in and hand over cash for the building. These deals happen through business brokers, franchise resale networks, or direct negotiations with retiring owners looking to sell their life's work. Your $1.5 million price tag covers the real estate, the underground fuel tanks, the pump equipment, and the existing customer relationships built over years. If your station also holds a valuable franchise agreement with a major fuel brand, that agreement alone can add or subtract hundreds of thousands of dollars from the price. Before you sign anything, you had to survive months of environmental and financial due diligence. Inspectors tested the underground storage tanks for leaks, because contaminated soil can turn a great deal into a legal nightmare. Accountants pored over years of fuel volume and store sales data to verify the numbers matched reality. Lawyers reviewed your fuel supply agreement to see if you were locked into buying from one specific brand at fixed prices. And regulators had to approve the transfer, because fuel storage and environmental compliance are heavily monitored by local and federal agencies. Financing a purchase this size rarely comes from one source. You likely combined a small business loan, seller financing from the previous owner, and personal capital to close the deal. That's the interesting part of gas station ownership. The real estate alone often holds more long-term value than the fuel business itself. Your first morning as the owner starts before the sun comes up. Commuters are already pulling in for coffee and a fill-up before their shift starts. You walk behind the counter, watching the register ring up energy drinks, lottery tickets, and cigarettes faster than actual gasoline. Every gallon of fuel you sell might earn you only a few cents of pure profit. Every candy bar or bag of chips sold inside might earn you 50 cents or more on a dollar. Multiply that by hundreds of transactions a day, and the real business model becomes obvious very quickly. You check the back office, where fuel tank sensors and point-of-sale software track every gallon and every inventory item in real time. This isn't just a gas station, it's a data operation, tracking fuel deliveries, shrinkage, and customer habits around the clock. Now let's follow the money, because this is where gas station economics get genuinely fascinating. Your revenue comes from 2 very different sources with 2 very different margins. Fuel sales generate massive top-line numbers, but tiny actual profit per gallon. The convenience store generates a fraction of the revenue, but often the majority of your actual profit. Some owners lean heavily into food service, adding a hot food counter or coffee bar to boost margins further. Others focus purely on volume, competing on the lowest fuel price in town to keep the pumps constantly busy. On a well-located station, daily revenue can range from $5,000 to well over $20,000 combined across fuel and store sales. Annualized, that's millions of dollars flowing through a small building that never really stops running. Your expenses are dominated by a few major categories. Fuel inventory costs eat up the majority of your revenue, since you're essentially a middleman for the oil companies. Labor costs cover cashiers, overnight staff, and management, running around the clock in most locations. Credit card processing fees quietly take a real bite out of thin fuel margins on every single transaction. Maintenance costs cover pump equipment, tank monitoring systems, and store upkeep, which add up faster than most new owners expect. Many well-run gas stations operate with overall profit margins between 2 and 6%, numbers that sound tiny until you see the total revenue behind them. Of course, nothing this steady comes without serious headaches. Problem number 1, thin fuel margins. A single cent difference in wholesale fuel prices can wipe out your entire daily profit on gasoline sales. Problem number 2, environmental liability. Underground fuel tanks can leak without warning, and cleanup costs can run into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Problem number 3, competition. A new station opening across the street with slightly cheaper prices can instantly steal your regular customers. Problem number 4, theft and shrinkage. Convenience stores lose real money every year to shoplifting, employee theft, and drive off customers who never pay. Problem number 5, brand restrictions. If you're locked into a franchise agreement, you may be forced to buy fuel at fixed prices, even when cheaper options exist elsewhere. And problem number 6, maybe the scariest one, shifting energy trends. As electric vehicles become more common, some analysts expect gasoline demand to gradually decline over the coming decades. That means the very product your business depends on could slowly shrink over your ownership lifetime. So, is owning a gas station actually worth it? Financially, few small businesses offer this combination of steady daily foot traffic and diversified revenue streams. People need fuel regardless of the economy, and they need snacks, drinks, and quick errands even more. Your station captures a slice of daily life that barely changes even during recessions, because people still have to get to work. But you're not just buying pumps and a building, you're buying environmental responsibility, thin margins, and constant operational management. The smartest owners treat their station less like a passive investment and more like a hands-on retail business that happens to sell fuel. Keep your fuel contracts competitive, keep your store inventory profitable, and keep your equipment well maintained to avoid costly surprises. Do that, and your $1.5 million station can generate steady, dependable income for decades, quietly outperforming flashier investments the whole time. So congratulations, you didn't just buy a gas station. You bought a small piece of everyday life. One fill-up, one coffee, and one candy bar at a time.